And we begin in Venezuela. Caracas hosts the third plenary session of the International Communication Congress at the International University of Communications. Let's go with our special envoy, Yunus, on air for all the details. Yunus, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon from Caracas, Venezuela, from the lobby of the International University of Communication. I'm here where the third International Congress of Communication has began today with a number of workshops, 7 in the number, dealing with different topics from artificial intelligence to digital hegemony to cultural sovereignty. Workshops are working on the idea of deepening an international network in the struggle of anti-colonialism, anti-fascism, anti-imperialism. But I would not like to talk too much about these topics on my own because I have a very distinguished guest here, Professor Luis Delgado. He is the Vice President of the International University of Communication. Thank you for taking the time, Professor. How are you?
For the opportunity. Thanks a lot. We are trying to think the communication in terms of the new problems facing the Venezuela, the people of Venezuela, but also the people of Latin America and all the world, because the communication is recreating the forms of the identities and the subjectivities are thinking the life, thinking the work, thinking the politics, and in general thinking the religious, the religion, the theology. And so our utopia is we are trying to rethink what kind of utopia can we create in Latin America in this situation, because we are facing a lot of measures, imperialist measures that are creating too much difficulties to live, too much difficult to making politics, to make knowledge, epistemology. But we are trying to think in our situation, what kind of world we can think, trying to retake the knowledge of our ancestors, all the persons who creates our civilization. So this university is not thinking the communication in terms of the European or American way that you create the communication like an epistemology. We are trying to rethink the communication in terms of our soul, our narratives, our identities, especially the identities of the youth people, but all the generations also, because we are here because the most old people in a big way take the decision to vote in this past election, because a lot of our youth people was convinced to travel to Europe, to the United States, or other places in Latin America. So our goals is trying to rethink the world, but taking the communication as a weapon to defend us of the cognitive war, the imperialists and mostly the fascism, the new form of neo-fascism are trying to impact in our lives and are trying the I don't know how to say to attack our destiny like free people.
Thank you. And there is another context, as you said, creating an utopia, defending against an attack. But there's also a huge effort going on here, as far as I can observe, institutionally, like creating new networks, creating maybe certain institutions to create this utopia together in a joint effort in the university, with other institutions in Venezuela, but even beyond Venezuela within international cooperations, as I see here several guests from other countries, even from other continents. Can you explain us a little bit on that, the institutional perspective of this network of communication?
In Venezuela, we are trying to rethink the communication also in the technological way. TeleSUR is a good example, but we have Radio del Sur, we have a lot of new centers for rethinking the communication, but our system is not focused in the technology, but we're trying to rethink in the communication in terms of what is the communication which has the power to create new identities, new subjectivities, able to resist the impact of the narratives, the imperialist and the American way of life narratives, which are very strong in our countries, but we observe these narratives are. It is possible to defend us of these narratives, but the institutions are the second one. The first one is trying to rethink who are we, where are our strengths, where are where is our deep soul like people, not just in Venezuela, but in the Andean people in Latin America, the Caribbean people. And for this reason, the history is very important for us in this university. We have a lot of historian researching people here, and we are trying to rethinking the communication in terms of a transdisciplinary way, not in terms of a monodisciplinary way.
And what's the path ahead? What's lying ahead? What will be the agenda of the fourth Congress next year of international communication?
I think we are going to think how can the intelligence, the IA, is impacting in our leaders, political leaders, military leaders, epistemological leaders, and communal leaders, because the IA is creating a new world, and we think we need to put the IA, try to think how can the IA can help us to create our destiny, our agendas, and our institution also.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So the international Congress of Communication continues today and will also continue tomorrow. Right now are different working groups working on different topics, but something is very important, as the Vice President, Professor Luis Delgado, has emphasized. It is one thing about these institutions, networkings, creating alternative media structures, but there is also another deeper discussion and quest going on here in the International University of Communication, and it is the quest for an alternative utopia, for the search of the soul of Latin America and the entire global south. So there are two different discussions here, one on the institutional, practical, communicational level, but then there is, as the Vice President emphasized, there is the search also for an alternative utopia, which together are important to resist imperialist attacks against Venezuela as well as other countries of the global south. We are continuing to watch the Third International Congress of Communication here in Caracas.